The mining industry will focus especially on the Moon and on asteroids as the easiest targets for obtaining resources such as minerals, metals, or water. Asteroid mining, which has belonged to the realm of science fiction until now, could become a reality in the near future. We may be witness to a 21st century gold rush.
The real estate plays when we start launching lots of people to space. It's going to be the manufacturing that we can get going on orbit. It's going to be all of the things that we can do, and you're going to need everything you can possibly imagine on Earth. We're going to need that in space. That's going to create an incredible amount of value. That's going to engage a lot of people.
There are two places in the world that concentrate most of the companies responsible for this revolution: California in the United States and Luxembourg, a very small country in the heart of Europe. Luxembourg is a very particular case. It could become the Silicon Valley of asteroid mining. This tiny state took a gamble on the space industry and nowadays hosts the SES, Société Européenne des Satellites, the world's leading satellite operator, with a fleet of about 50 satellites. This country is one of the main accelerators of this emerging space industry revolution.
Luxembourg have become very interested in asteroid mining. They're a fascinating little country, and they're a very little country. But in the 1980s, they helped to set up some of the first commercial telecommunication satellites. And now the largest telecommunication satellites in the world are from Luxembourg. So they're bigger in space than they are on the ground.
The goal of the Luxembourg government is to put into place an overall framework for the exploration and commercial use of resources from celestial bodies such as asteroids. An adventurous and unproven enterprise like space mining requires financial backing, legal frameworks, and favorable regulatory structures to allow the work to even take place. Luxembourg has expertise in this area, given its experience in the mid-1980s with the commercial satellite industry.
They're smart enough to know the financial industry, and they have a fairly concentrated economy in a couple of sectors. So they're now aggressively looking for other wins they can make. How can they get ahead of the game? And so they've realized asteroid mining, it's not just about the regulatory environment. I mean, it's easy enough for them to write favorable regulations so that it makes sense. But they also want to invest to move that forward and really cement their position in the asteroid mining industry.
Asteroid mining could become a big industry within the next decade, depending on how we solve the many technical difficulties involved. The first difficulty is to know which asteroids are the most interesting for mining purposes, as there are asteroids spread all over the solar system.
To know which asteroids to go to, we work with collaborators who have been studying meteorites and remote observation of asteroids. And from our observations, we can determine which type of asteroid it is. And the meteorites tell us kind of the range of possibilities of the mineralogy of those asteroids.
The data gathered by NASA, ESA, the European Space Agency, JAXA, the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, and other space agencies in the last few years on near-Earth asteroids, the most easy accessible, will facilitate the selection of the best targets for asteroid mining companies. Another difficulty would be to decide the best way to mine, whether to bring raw asteroidal material to Earth for use or to process it on-site to bring back only processed materials and perhaps produce propellant for the return trip. Or even to transport the asteroid to a safe orbit around the Moon, Earth, or to the International Space Station. This could hypothetically allow for most materials to be used and not wasted.
What makes asteroids unique and different from other bodies like moons or planets is that they are so small that their gravity is practically zero. That low gravity is good for a couple of things. That makes it easier to get to them. The energy that you need to get to them is lower than even to get to the moon or Mars. So they are easily accessible energetically, not necessarily on time. They may be far away, but it's easy to get to them in energy. But one thing about the very low gravity of them is that all the techniques that we have learned on how to mine or extract materials here on Earth are quite different when you get to an asteroid. You no longer have that gravity that can keep an excavator on the ground and the traction that you need to move around. These things will tend to float. So you have to design different techniques how to extract this material.